With the devil.
Ride through Houston, Texas, flexing, rolling through the SWAT. Repping for the city, hear 'em in the parking lot. Houston written across the jersey, ain't gon' never stop. Just fans got me tuning in, waiting for the drop. Astros, Texas, Rockets, Dynamo, they coming with it. When they pull up, got the city sitting on a fitted. Straight up A-Leaf, hold it down, ain't gon' never quit it. Just fans got me tuning in, let my dogs get it. Southwest A-Leaf, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans.
How's it going, everybody? It's Carlos, your host of the Just Fans podcast, and I'm here. For some reason, he's at my place. Poppy's in the house. What's up, Poppy? Dude, turn your closed captioning on, and you're not going to understand what the hell he's saying.
He's still doing that,
The SAP button, baby. Yeah, that's right. And, of course, we got the one and only Rios. How's it going, Rios?
Man, it has been a crazy last few days on Texans Twitter.
Oh, it's been insane. Exactly. It's been insane. And, of course, we got the one and only all the way from the H-Town rundown, the one and only, the legendary, the GOAT himself, AD in the house. How's it going, AD?
What up, fellas? How y'all doing?
We're good. Again, I don't know why he's here and he's really screaming in my ear. I love doing this shit privately. Hey, man, we got a few things to talk about, but we got the comments already. Yo, CarCast 49ers. What's up, guys? We got a 49ers fans over here.
Man, fuck the 49ers.
All right, well.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Had
All right. I'm just kidding.
No, he kills
I'm
him.
not. I'm not.
He's an idiot. All right, so hey, man, we just had the draft. A little bit of mixed reactions in the draft on Texans Twitter. Some people really liked it. Mixed, yeah, that's the best word I can put it. Mixed reactions on Twitter. Some people liked them, some people didn't, almost like our uniforms. But on this one, I don't know. So I wanted to start off with a few comments about the draft, and then we're going to grade it at the end of it, okay? All of us will give us our grade and why we think, the Texans deserve that grade for this year's draft at least. Last season, I think it kind of blew us away they were so aggressive at the draft, with obviously with CJ Stroud and then immediately right after getting Will Anderson. That may have been an attribute of why a lot of Texans fans were like hoping for something like that this upcoming season. About a few months ago, the Texans traded back down to 42 and 59 or whatnot. And so, a lot of people were wondering, okay, why? Why did that happen, or why is Nick about to cook, or is Nick, what's Nick planning or whatever? Because I do gotta say, I do trust Nick, still. I trust Nick. I feel like, in the years that he's been here, he's done a pretty decent job with the draft, and honestly, even handling the Deshaun Watson situation as far as trading, in just my opinion. Yeah. He didn't bite on the first, few offers that he got. He actually waited, and now we have Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, you name it, and whatever we're able to.
And everything that we got from that trade finalized with this draft.
Yeah.
Everything, every single pick, turned into something.
Yeah. So it was definitely a big. Definitely, he turned it into something that most people would have probably just bit and gotten whatever they could just to try to get Deshaun Watson out of the how do you call it? Your ass is about to eat. So we were brought. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bitch.
You wish you were
us right now. Anyway, so that was our producer. Thank you, love. She flicked me off. Anyway, so
as she should.
Yeah. So back to that. I felt like this year's draft, though, I think there were a lot of expectations. Like, hey, is Nick going to trade up maybe to go into the first round, maybe a little higher, maybe to the 30th or whatever. But he didn't. It was at the end of it wasn't a flashy draft. It was more of like he assessed
like a safe one.
Yeah, it was like a safe one. I feel like he assessed needs that needed to be addressed. But it also felt like they were all in on either Kool-Aid McKinstry, and then when they got, in my opinion, of course, and then once it got swooped up, it felt like, okay, what do we do next? I don't know if necessarily Lassiter was top choice for the Texans, but it almost kind of felt that way for me. Poppy, what do you think?
Well, yeah, some people did call that a reach. I do feel like, kind of like you said, it was more of like it was the safe option. A lot of the time, it wasn't nothing flashy, nothing too crazy. I feel like trading up was the play, but I'm not sure a lot of people were picking up the phone for that. I feel like a lot of teams were already set on what they wanted to do. I feel like the Texans, they were kind of like moving pieces in order to do something else, and that maybe didn't end up working out. So I feel like overall, especially the first few picks that we had, overall, I feel like they were solid. Like I said, nothing too flashy, nothing too crazy, but I don't know what you guys are gonna say. You know, we discussed how like everybody on Twitter was all over the place, but I am somewhat content, and kind of like you said, I feel like I trust Nick Casario at this point, and I do like some of the picks that they ended up going with, especially the safety and the tight end. But I want to know what Rios thinks. He was all over the group chat doing that.
Yeah.
Play
So
guy. I don't watch certain parts of it.
Shut the
And
hell
this
up.
fool was like, okay, Broncos picked this guy. Okay, Green Bay picked this other guy. I'm like, all right.
Rios, go ahead. Your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, so I guess after last year's draft, I had a little bit higher expectations. But he made the safe picks basically. But I think I know we were talking about this offline a little bit. I think when all those corners fell, they were on the phones trying to move back up. But I think teams realize now that, hey, you know what? If we trade with them, these picks are going to be at the bottom of the rounds. They're not going to be at the top like they used to be. So they're probably asking for a whole lot more because, again, they're picking much lower next year. And also, I think some teams, didn't want to help Houston out either. They saw the moves they made for agency. They're like, nah, we're not going to help these guys out. They got enough already.
Yeah, fuck the Saints.
I don't think Lassiter was the pick there. I think they were hoping to see if Mitchell fell, and they tried to get him. And once they couldn't get him, they just decided to stay pat and take whoever fell to them.
Yeah. All right. AD, what's your take on this, Ben?
I could say that a lot of these picks weren't their original pick. That they planned on picking. I think the pick at 50 was at 59.
Yeah.
If you look who was picked right before him was the safety Bullard that we had brought in for a visit from Georgia. Yeah. I think he was the pick, and and I don't know if this is right, but I think both times Green Bay traded up in front of us.
Right, they did.
41 and 58.
Yeah, what are we doing to you, Green Bay?
Fuck Green Bay.
Green Bay.
And I think I forgot who was taking at 41. I think it was
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I really think it was supposed to. The two picks from 42 and 59 were supposed to be Kool-Aid and Bullard, the safety.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had to pivot. And I don't think Nick does great things when he pivots. But I mean,
you think they're bad picks though? Do you think they're like
no? They're good players. I just think that they were picked where they weren't projected to be picked at. But I think this draft was just a wonky draft. You had 9 offensive tackles going the first round.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen in a normal draft. You had 6 quarterbacks.
Like 8.
I think you were heading into that, right? Quarterbacks? How many
quarterbacks? It was 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks.
It felt like 12 at times. Yeah. I'm like, damn, another.
I think the Falcons, they threw everyone's draft board into total chaos.
Yeah.
With Michael Penix, right?
Yeah.
That is insane. You got Michael Penix and you got what's his face? Kirk Cousins. Like, what are we doing?
The finesse king right there, $180 million coming off an Achilles. At 38, I'm like, how?
Look, and guess what we did? We followed suit, and we went and drafted a tackle at 58. We already have 2 starting tackles, so let's get another tackle.
Very injury-prone starting tackles.
And so that's the thing. So the pick 59 for the Texans, we got a tackle, and I agree with you 100%, AD. I think we pivoted. I think we were supposed to get Bullard, and I think who took him? Was it it was the Packers, right? That took him. And so because I was thinking of the Giants, but that was Nubin who I was thinking about.
Fuck them too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they took the Packers took them, and so yeah, I agree that we have to pivot. I felt like, you got a person who has played more snaps at right tackle than he has played at left or whatnot, and because a lot of people were saying he's coming for Titus Howard's job, but I'm thinking, wait, he just got extended.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, how does that? And so people are a lot of people are saying this for depth, or a swing tackle, if you will, or whatever. So I'm just thinking, but at 59, like that was my thing. At 59, you got. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy's a hell of a player. Like, there's nothing wrong with him at all, with Blake, but at 59, and I was like, wow. So that's what made me think in the back of my head, I was like, maybe they were just, that wasn't the pick that was supposed to happen, and that's the best that you were able to, like, in your words, like you said, pivot.
I mean, it was definitely a reach, because the guy even said he had a party planned for Saturday because he's expecting to go day 3, not day 2.
Like, damn, I got to reschedule now. God damn, the invitations.
And the thing about it, you can make sense. You can make sense of it. Hey, you need this, and that. I will go back to say that Titus Howard he's injury prone, but look at where he was playing every time he got injured. He never got injured playing tackle. He always got injured playing guard.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if he stays at tackle, he won't get injured.
Yeah, but maybe with this guy, if one of the guards goes down, maybe Titus Howard doesn't have to play guard. Maybe we can put this guy on there. So I feel like. And I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a bad pick per se. I feel like it was a middle of the park type of pick, nothing too crazy. I feel like depth is very important. We saw that. Then my accent just came out of nowhere.
I know your accent just came. I think the
it was very important for us
very important position.
Like something that we talked about, the O-line, protecting CJ as much as possible. And on the last show, I did say I wouldn't be surprised if we went with an offensive tackle.
You did say that, yes.
So
I'm round 2. That's
I don't draft for depth. I don't necessarily love the pick, but I feel like it's I don't think it's gonna hurt us on the long run. I think it can only help us.
Yeah. Okay. I think if the picks were flipped, if we would have taken Bullock at 59 and Fisher at 78, I think the perception and the reception would have been a lot different.
Yeah, and if we would have gone Kool-Aid as well, I feel like maybe Twitter wouldn't be as,
it felt like a lot of, well, not the Bullock pick, but the first 2 picks, people were like, who?
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Another pick that I liked, I'm not going in order or anything. Cade Stover.
Stover, I barely know her.
I like that one just because of the chemistry with CJ. Now I get he only played 1 year with CJ. And I think with CJ, he had about 36 receptions, about 300 some yards. I don't know the accurate number.
I'm sure that CJ had something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And so, but the following season, he averaged over 500 yards. But so I think there is some chemistry there with CJ, obviously an Ohio State player. I was actually looking for that because at the end of the day, dude, yes, we do have Dalton Schultz, but I always one of the positions that I always never really hear about with the Texans is much a tight end. Like I think we have mentioned in one of our previous episodes, the last big tight end the last big tight end. My speech impediment's coming out. It's like I haven't remembered a big tight end since like Owen Daniels. You know what I mean? Yes, CJ Fedorowicz, but he got concussed and that was it. It looked like towards the last year he had, it looks like he was actually trying. He was actually doing. It was going to progress into being something like an asset for the Texans, but the concussions got to him, and then he had to go.
You say like it's his fault.
How dare he? It's his fault. No, but I mean, I do like the tight end position. I do like the tight end position because at the end of it, you do have Belvin Jordan, yes. You do have Dalton Schultz, but I think adding another tight end in there in the mix, I don't think that's a bad idea. So I like that pick. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty solid. It was something that I didn't expect when we picked him. I was like, because there's still some positions of need. I would say that needed to be addressed more so than tight end. I feel like offensively, after acquiring Stefan Diggs, and we haven't mentioned the whole Tank Dell situation. We heard what happened. He's okay. The Texans made a statement on Twitter, so hopefully he can come back 100%. Especially after the injury last year, and then with the rest of the offensive weapons that we have, like Diggs, like I just mentioned, like we're looking great offensively, and maybe some improvements on the O-line. I felt like defensively there were still some positions in need that we needed. D tackle, linebackers, the whole secondary really. I feel like the tight end pick was a little bit of a surprise, but I'm happy with it. The CJ connection is there. Like he said, he put up great numbers last season. And Schultz, even though he was very good last year, he dropped a lot of passes. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing this guy maybe get some reps this year and see how he and CJ connect. Rios, what do you think?
Yeah, I was kind of happy with the pick. Farmer Gronk, he's gonna fit right into Texas. When a guy is, when he gets called for the draft for getting drafted, and he's out there farming, Hall of Famer. Get the jacket ready for Cannon.
Wrestling.
That was crazy, right? He needs to show up, day one in some overalls. It's like Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, right. I was going to say he wants to be Vince Wilfork 2.0. Yeah, I think Stover was, one of the best picks of the draft for the Houston Texans. Poppy mentioned about Schultz dropping balls. Pause. But I think K Stover had a stat where he didn't drop a pass for I think the whole season last year.
Right.
So that's something, a reliable target that you're gonna have, and it allows you to run those 2 tight end sets and makes your offense even more flexible to do different things. So I think it's an awesome pick.
Yeah, I like that one. Let's see, what's another pick that I think of, that I'm thinking off the top of my head.
What about the safety?
So the safety that we got from USC, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Caden.
So with him, I hear a little bit of mixed reviews, but he's one of the things that we definitely needed was somebody that can run for the deep ball, because we got burned a lot on defense last season. My goodness,
Petrie was in no man's land every single time, dude.
And I think one of the reasons why they got him is for that. It's just being somebody that's able to, run the deep ball or whatnot, because we got burned so much. I think we were 19. Our defense, I think our front was fine, and because of how many yards we were giving out, per game, I think it brought us down to like the 19th ranked defense in the league, but we could have been a little bit higher than that with our front. But it was an area of need, because like we said, Petrie, I love Petrie, but I think the system was a little different for him, and it took some while to adjust. Yeah,
he has great games, but he's very inconsistent at times.
Yeah, like towards the end, he started picking it up, but yeah, during a lot of the season, he either got burnt or something was happening where, like you said, it was a no man's land. So I think addressing that area of need with Bullock was a good idea. I think now is it the first choice you would have had at safety though?
Dude, honestly, after like what we mentioned, like with the first 2 picks getting us to pivot a lot, I feel like that just dropped us off our game plan for that draft. I was just happy that we addressed some of the secondary issues. I would have loved like another corner out there. We know Stingley was very solid last year. I would have loved somebody else, kind of like Kool-Aid, man. I feel like he would have been like kind of like the perfect fit. But I don't think this was a bad pick. Like I feel like a lot of Texans Twitter is over exaggerating how bad or disappointing it was, especially after the draft we have last year. Last year it gets as aggressive as it gets.
Right.
Going like number 2 and number 3 back to back, and both of those players panning out the way they did. I feel like everybody's just taking it out of proportion. I like the pick. We'll see how it pans out, man.
Yeah. Rios, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he was a bit of a steal because I didn't think he was going to be available this late in the third round. That's why they traded up for him, because he probably was going to go to the board pretty soon. And I think with him, because he's a ball hawking safety, it basically, I read somewhere they're thinking of moving Jimmy Ward to nickel. And with that, you could have him playing in the back, and then you could have Petrie a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage because he's a better in the box safety than in coverage.
Yeah.
Because in coverage, he just gets burned almost every time on those deep routes. So I like the pick. And he's only 20 years old. He hasn't even hit his athletic prime yet.
Not even.
You're like 4 times his age. It's crazy.
8 times.
Just about.
When did you hit your athletic prime?
About 60 years ago.
I never had one. So yes.
I was like 11.
You were 12. You hit your prime at 12. All right. AD, what's up? What are your thoughts on him?
So I think Kalen Bullock was the best pick of the draft for the Houston Texans. We don't have a safety that does what he does on the roster. It's not MJ Stewart.
Yeah.
It's not Eric Murray. It's not Lonnie Johnson. It's not Jimmy Ward. It's not Jalen Petrie. None of those guys are anywhere in the stratosphere of being ball hawking, sideline to sideline, rangy safeties. And I think that is something that they desperately needed, which is why I think we were definitely going to take a safety, whether it would have been at 42 or at 59 or wherever. I think safety would have been one of the top priorities on the board. And Bobby was talking about how people were so disappointed. I feel like the kids, they got the brand new PS5 last year, and then
they just look at Madden, yeah.
They just got a game. So, and then it's one of those games that came out like right after the game, like they got the old Spider-Man game, and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's cool, it's fun," but hey, so yeah, I think that's basically what it is. Last year was the flashy draft,
yeah,
and you got everything that almost every player that we drafted last year produced on the team,
right?
And was very impactful and important to how we got to the second round of the playoffs. So, hope this year, I think I said it on many platforms that this was a depth draft.
Yes.
And I think that anybody that we would have drafted, period, this draft was going to be a depth piece to the roster. I think Nick Caserio did as much as he could possibly to build the roster out where anything you did in this draft, we're going to be a backup, basically. You look at any position, even defensive tackle. I know people are talking about defensive tackle, but I mean, you look at Tim Settle and Fadakowski, those are starting defensive tackles that you signed in free agency, along with Khalil Davis, who played a hell of a lot. And then you got Nico Autry, who can slip in there. So it's a lot of different things that Nick Caserio did this offseason that prevented us from, quote unquote, getting that high profile player. Because
we necessarily didn't have to get the flashy pick this year. Will it be something that we end up regretting? We'll see. But I feel like, kind of like you said, it was more about depth. It's more about getting the right pieces, or as close to right as possible. We have a good team. We know that. And a lot of people are talking about us for a reason. The Houston Texans made a statement last year in the playoffs and going to the second round. And, we lost to Baltimore, and with the MVP of the league, and, you could argue that they just got better this offseason as well. But we know that I feel like this season more confident. We have more confidence going into it than any of the years past, even the Deshaun years, I would say. I feel like I feel a lot better. Than then. And kind of like we said, like the Deshaun trade, like turned into basically the team we have right now.
Yeah, including Diggs. People don't want to add Diggs, but Diggs is a part of that Deshaun Watson.
Imagine Deshaun Watson being a creep, turn into CJ, the offensive rookie of the year, Will Anderson, defensive rookie of the year, Stephon Diggs, right, one of the top 5 wide receivers in the game. Damian Pierce, Tank Dell. Like, dude,
I have the list here. I think Adam.
I don't think y'all should have added Damian Pierce, but okay.
Yeah.
Special teams player right there of the week. Special teams player of the week.
Special players.
Special players. There you go.
Tuesday.
So it was let me see. We got Damian. Okay.
Kenyon Green.
Well, TBD.
This is season for him to prove it.
First round pick, 2024, traded back with Minnesota. Got Kamari Lassiter, Jamal Hill, and Caden Bullock. Okay. Yep. So, and then Browns received quarterback Deshaun Watson and 2024 6th round pick included in Jerry Jeudy trade. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like it's easy to say that the Browns got fleeced.
Yeah. Fuck the Browns.
Yeah. And so
always
at this point, yeah. So with that being said, one of the guys that so we've talked so far about Kamari Lassiter. We've talked about Blake Fisher. We've talked about Kalen Bullock and Kate Stover, even though it was in the wrong order. Now we got a linebacker at this on round 6. Jamal Hill, linebacker out of Oregon. They're going to, so the Texans already have Azeez Al-Shaair. They have Christian Harris, who are definite starters. With Jamal Hill, he's obviously, I don't see him as he's going to be starting this season, but man, he's got that speed at 4.41 that he put out, and he's just a fast how do you call it, linebacker. I think I see him more in special teams really than anything. But dude, when you got that speed, you're going to make some plays of special team, and eventually, if it happens, bro, when you start getting you start developing on special teams, bro, you start making those plays. You still got that 4.41 speed. That's going to be some crazy shit that we see alongside with all the linebackers. What are you doing, bro?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Like, what the fuck is he doing back there?
Yeah, seriously. And so I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna need you not to do that. Hand motion no more. And so I don't know. That's how I think. I like the pick, but I think more of a special teams, but hope in hopes of developing into eventually a starter and role. But if he keeps that speed and becomes a starter, dang, I think we have some good times coming up ahead.
I think Rios called him the next Ray Lewis, right?
Yes.
I did not.
All right, Poppy, what are your thoughts on Jamal Hill?
I'm not gonna lie. After the tight end pick, I kind of stopped watching.
He fell asleep because he's old.
But
I appreciate your honesty, though.
At the end of the day, like I told you guys, I trust Nick Casario. Like, I feel like
Wait, how'd you call him?
Casario.
Casario.
The accent, all right?
Bro, he gains a citizenship. He's a Casario.
Casario.
I feel like overall, it was a decent draft.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're gonna give it a final grade here in a minute, but thought it was solid. I don't watch as much college ball as Rios does, but fuck off. Fucking stuttering over there.
That's true.
But I just want to see how these guys are gonna pan out. Kind of like you said, I don't think he's gonna be a starter.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we're gonna be whooping a lot of ass this season, so I'm sure he's gonna get a few snaps.
Yeah. All right, Rios, go for it, man.
Yeah, like just mentioned, I don't see him starting because they're probably going to run with four up front, 2 linebackers, Al-Shaair and Christian Harris, and then probably 5 defensive backs. Your 3 corners and your 2 safeties. So you probably won't see the field too much. But yeah, it's a solid signing. Again, great depth piece, and if one of the linebackers does go down, he has that speed to kind of make up for, like, say Christian Harris needs a break or goes down with injury, God forbid. But he has that same type of speed that Christian Harris does. So we'll see what kind of the player he develops into. But yeah, mostly special teams.
Yeah. All right. AD.
So he wasn't the linebacker that I wanted. I've been pounding the table for Adrian Cooper.
Yeah.
For the longest.
Yes.
Pissed off that Green Bay. Green Bay basically got all the players that we should have gotten.
What do we say to Green Bay?
Fuck Green Bay.
Hey, bro.
So
Green Bay and the Eagles too. They got all the guys we wanted too.
Fuck the Eagles too.
Rich get richer, bro.
Yeah, did I say fuck the Saints already?
You did.
Fuck them.
In case I didn't hear you. One more time for the people in the back.
Fuck the Saints, bro.
Go ahead.
Oh, now you can speak proper English.
Fuck Rios too, man.
Aw.
But no, man, I think he's going to be a developmental linebacker for D'Amico Ryans. I don't think you see the impact of him. Just like the most of the draft picks we drafted, you don't see them until like 2026, 2027, where you see the impact of them playing.
Yeah, it's like 100% a developmental player, just like you said. But I mean, if anybody can get him to, in the starting role, is D'Amico. And D'Amico I trust as well. All right, so now at the 205th pick, also in the 6th round, the Texans also had is it Jahar Jordan? Running back.
Jawar.
Okay, Jawar. I'm like a substitute teacher that just butchers everybody's name. Hey,
no. You don't have nothing. You don't have nothing on C-Roll. C-Roll will come.
Oh yeah,
C-Roll butchers names all day long, man. So
I love it. And not a care in the world. That's the best part about the world. Yeah. Jawar Jordan, running back from Louisville. So, all right. So this is a true story. We were in talks with Isaac Garendo on the show to get him on. We were messaging back and forth, and we were supposed to figure out a day for him to come on the show. He was going to be one of our last ones to interview. I had contact with him, but unfortunately, the timing wasn't right for all that because he was doing a lot of draft stuff. And of course, once he did the pro day, he completely obliterated. He had some really great numbers where he garnered a lot of attention. I feel like those numbers got him, to be drafted by the 49ers. So, but I did, as more as I saw, and this is absolutely no this, as more as I saw some more film on Isaac Garendo, I saw him a lot as he can catch the ball, which was great, but a lot of it was he was a power back, so it reminded me a lot of like Dameon Pierce, you know what I mean? And so I didn't see a lot of fluidity from him, so I didn't know how he would fit in the system. I'm sure they probably would have found a way to make sure that he fit in the system, but
I mean, they haven't found a way to make it Dameon Pierce fucking fit in the system, but
they have returning kicks.
Yeah, returning kicks.
I guess. Special teams. Special play.
Yeah. And Jawar Jordan, I think he had a few better stats than Isaac did, but I think he will fit into the system. Obviously you got a running back room with Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, and then who else did we have? I can't remember. Did we have another third?
Dare.
Huh?
Dare.
Yeah, and so who can be a great kicker as well. And but so we have a running back room, and obviously adding him on there, we'll see what happens. But obviously, I don't see him as a starter. There is some snaps that he might take or whatever, but as he fits into the system or not. But also, I also probably do see him in special teams as well. But I'm okay with it. You're addressing I don't know how much. I mean, we have Joe Mixon.
I don't know how much we need.
I don't know how much we need at running back, but I was okay with it. Not something I would say of dire necessity, in my opinion, but I was okay with the pick, but I don't know how much of a necessity it was, especially with that running back room. Yeah. So, Poppy, what was your thoughts on that?
Kind of the same, man. It's just like, he could pan out to something in the future down the line. We're obviously going to run with Joe Mixon, and if the D'Amico can figure out something to do with Pierce, that would be fantastic. I still do have his jersey.
Same.
But
Goodwill.
It wasn't the positions that we kind of needed. Like, you can never have too much help on the secondary and the D line in general. You're scratching your back with a but
that's my ass scratching marker.
But I just gotta say, man, what did you say?
Oh God.
Get the fuck out of here. You just gotta put your trust.
Yeah.
You gotta trust the front office.
Put your trust in the ass pressure?
Say it again?
So you put your trust in the ass scratcher?
Yes.
Same level of trust.
Shit, I lost it again. No.
You find that
2 days later.
You fart. You're like, oh shit.
All right, Rios, go.
That's where it was. Okay.
That's where it was.
Oh, he knew where it was. He was just waiting for it.
Rios, go for it.
Jesus Christ, man.
Don't bring him into this.
No, I actually like the pick because he's actually he was the best zone running back prospect in this draft. So I'm pretty happy that he's going to fit right in. I think he's going to be your backup running back. Your backup running back and your change of pace. Say what now?
You think you took over Dameon Pierce's job?
Easily, because like I said, he's the best at zone running in this draft. And it will be a perfect scheme fit for him. I think he's got to earn it, obviously, but I think he's going to work hard in that backup running back spot. And like I said, it'll be a good change of pace back because, like I said, Mixon can do it all, but I think you're having a speedster like Jahal Jordan, definitely helps us. And, makes the offense more dynamic, something we didn't have last year. Singletary wasn't really a burner. He was shifty, but he wasn't very fast, and he'll get caught from behind a lot. So I think this guy, he can, once he gets through the whole thing, has a little bit more of a getaway speed than Singletary does. So should be fun to watch. And then, he'll probably return some punts as well too.
Yeah, I see that. AD, man, your thoughts on them?
Y'all have too much faith in Dameon Pierce. Okay.
I'm invested. I'm invested.
Look,
well, there's New Jersey, so buy a new one.
Damn right.
Watching the All-22 film on Dameon Pierce and how he's blind. He's Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder.
What did we say? Who kept running into? I can't remember. From the Colts.
Trent Richardson. Yes, Trent Richardson.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's Trent Richardson 2.0. Y'all, hey, more power to Dameon Pierce. Hopefully he turns it around, but he's a great personality, but not great in this system. And I think Gerard Jordan is probably the perfect complement to Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he sees the field a lot this year. I think more than special teams, I think he really is going to be the number 2 back.
Okay.
And I think the reason behind it is, you brought Dare Ogunbowale back.
Yeah.
Like, if bringing him doesn't signal you don't even have faith in Dameon Pierce to be a third down back or whatever. Like Dameon Pierce is almost out the door. Honestly,
I was gonna say, do you think this is Dameon Pierce last hurrah before how do you call it?
I think
it's out.
I think they try to keep him this year, but if he kind of disappoints in training camp, I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him. Don't say it too luck in him.
Oh man.
Pause. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something we didn't have in the backfield last year with speed. Even with Singletary, we didn't have like that guy, who's a home run hitter.
Okay.
I don't think we've had a home run hitter running back since Arian Foster, maybe.
Foster, yeah. Who's undrafted? Who went undrafted?
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna say this guy's Arian Foster because you know how people are. They'll take these two words, these two names combined in a sentence and say, "Oh, you're comparing them."
You AD said that
he said he was going to be a Hall of Famer.
Be like Arian Foster.
But
we're gonna make short clips off of that and be like, AD said. You hear that? AD said that George Jordan's gonna be the next Arian Foster. Book it. You heard it here first, folks.
Now, y'all remember when they said Dameon Pierce was gonna be the next Arian Foster? Yeah. Remember that?
I remember those days. Man, those were dark times.
Yeah, because that's the only thing we had going on in offense at that point.
Yeah,
that's literally it.
Because it was you put your faith in him or Mills. So,
yep, that's where that was. All right, I like y'all's take on how do you call it, on Jawad Jordan, man. I like that. Okay, person we took in the 7th round, Marcus Harris, defensive tackle out of Auburn. Okay, so we have, Autry. We have a few other players that are going to be there. A lot. I mean, for me, I think I was waiting for a defensive tackle earlier on in the. I think by like pick 59, I would have gone with a defensive tackle, but I don't. Obviously, you saw the Texans went with the offensive line. So, I don't know how really I feel about him. He's, I think adding Harris on there gives him a guy who's disruptive, in the scheme, but I don't know if he's an automatic starter at that point. I don't see him as a starter, so it's more like let's see what we can do and develop this guy. That's how I'm seeing Harris here. But that's really all I could think of. What about you?
Yeah, no, like just like we talked about. Like I feel like this whole draft was more about depth and players that are hopefully going to develop in the Miko system. I feel like this was just another one of those guys. The tackle is a position that I'm glad we have more depth on, and I'm not angry at it. I'm not excited by it. The way the first few picks went, I feel like that kind of walks you through the kind of draft we had. So I feel like this one's just another one.
So let's talk about obviously the DT about Harris, and then I was gonna ask you guys all the questions, see what you guys thought about it. Okay, but go ahead, Brios, about our pick, Harris.
Yeah, solid depth. He's similar in size to like Malik Collins, Sheldon Rankins. That between like the 290 to 310 pound range. A little bit undersized, but I think they can mold him in the same way they kind of molded him a little bit. Giving them a project, and he's young. He's young enough to see, to basically, I guess, any bad habits, learn some new ones in D'Amico, get coached up, and see what he got. Basically, not too much expectations from a 7th rounder.
Yeah, of course. AD, your thoughts on Harris?
Harris, he's an aggressive defensive tackle. I think that he adds depth. I think he competes with Kurt Hinish for that last D tackle spot. He's probably going to be a practice squad player.
Yeah.
But he's going to be a key piece, kind of like how we had Khalil Davis on the practice squad and then brought him up. And I think in case of injuries and everything like that, he's a good depth piece. He's a good piece to have, especially I think last year defensive tackle, it just got real thin real quick.
It did.
So, having that extra piece, to plug and play, he was all SEC. So, I mean, it wasn't like he's a slouch or anything.
Right.
He's on the smaller end, but we'll see. We'll see how he works.
True. I was going to ask you guys a question and see what your opinions were on it. Sweat from UT. Did you guys ever feel like the Texans were trying to make a go for it? Poppy, what do you think?
I'm not too sure. I feel like kind of like how everything just fell apart. Falling apart is it's a bit of a stretch. Yeah. Didn't feel like a lot of this draft went our way, but was that a guy that we were like on the hunt for? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I feel like the picks that we had were, like I said, were the safe picks.
Yeah.
From the look of it, it seemed that we didn't want to go that aggressive this year. That's really not a lot to say on that.
What's funny is that we had John McClain on, and he called Sweat a dumbass for he had done the whole DUI thing or whatnot, and he's like that dumbass, and then he got drafted by the Titans, which was pretty funny. And so
it adds up.
It adds up. So a lot ago, and so there were there's a good thing about him, but then there's things where everybody keeps talking about him just being out of shape, utterly out of shape or whatnot. So in my opinion, I don't think the Texans were considering him at all either. But I think he was available at one point, but the Texans didn't take him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, it just didn't seem like the right pick at the time.
Yeah, Rios, what do you think? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Andy,
yeah, no, I was just saying he played at UT at 400 pounds, man. Like he
wouldn't have been a good fit, just because McLean called him lazy, and he was playing like 80, said almost like 400 pounds in college. Imagine now that he has a lot more money, living in Houston or one of those other biggest cities. Like, just seems like this play. It doesn't seem like the kind of guy that D'Amico would go for on his defense.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't in shape, it's like basically going to be a 2-down player.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have him out there on third downs.
They eat shit, Sam. Do you have it?
I do not. Yeah. All right.
Who knows? Maybe he proves us all wrong, and he's the next Albert Hainsworth. Hopefully he's not, but
he won't.
Oh man,
playing with the Titans, bro. They ain't gonna do shit.
No.
In the last, they're not doing anything. Yeah, they're not doing it. Titans ain't doing nothing. Last one, really quick. Ladarius Henderson. I mean, he was in Michigan, and they had a top tier O line.
Yep.
So I think that's just added to me. That's just added depth in the O line or whatnot. Especially at I think he's at the offensive line. So I don't know. I like this one, and more depth. I don't think can cause any much more harm.
Yeah, with the amount of injuries we had on the O line last year, like I think you couldn't go wrong with adding an extra guy in there. It's just more tools for D'Amico to use, and hopefully the injury bug doesn't bite us as hard this year.
Look at the comment, man.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Oh man.
Keep cooking. Sorry.
But I feel like it was a decent pick. There's just another O lineman on there. We gotta protect CJ, man. We know that. So I think it was good.
Yeah. Rios, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Rios, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Like, with all the injuries we had last year, it was basically a revolving door for half the season. It doesn't hurt to have an extra O-line depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it seems like it'll be
where every single starter was on.
I think there was a point where we were on nothing but backups, and then
it's like duct tape and prayers. Like at some point,
basically.
Yeah.
AD, your thoughts?
Elmer's glue and prayer. It's not even duct tape. Elmer's glue.
Popsicle sticks.
Did you sniff it? Did we sniff it?
Yeah.
But no. Henderson, I was pleasantly surprised.
Sorry, what time, AD?
I was pleasantly surprised with the Henderson pick. Because watching him, he's a guard. He's not a tackle. He played tackle out of necessity because they didn't have anybody else in Michigan to play tackle. But when you watch his Arizona State tape, he's a hell of a nasty guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's aggressive. He loves to take people to the ground. Something that I don't think we had in any of the guards that played last year. Even Juice Scruggs,
but with nobody, you just
they went to the ground, but
they got to the
ground. But no, I think he's a great depth piece. He's going to be one of those pieces where he can come in and be defense.
Oh man, Brandon's on a roll.
Yeah,
shout out to Brandon. Not on this show. No, understandably so. Yeah, I like seeing that. Okay, let's do our grades. I no idea you got to go, so let's do our grades really quick.
Quick fire. What do you think?
I'm gonna say B, not too flashy, but depth that we definitely needed in positions and areas of need. So for me, I'm giving them a B for that reason. Again, address positions of need. Maybe not the ones that you wanted, but they pivoted into the direction they did. So for that, I'm gonna say B. You?
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna say B plus. I like the safety pick. I like the tight end pick, and I'm not mad at the offensive tackle either. I feel like with D'Amico at the helm, I feel like they're gonna pan out more so than some people think. So I'm gonna say B plus.
All right, Rios, you're great on that one.
If you'd asked me draft night, I would have said like a C minus. I was not too thrilled. But you'd have to take some time to sleep on it, then look back at some of the tape on these guys. Lassiter, he plays faster than his 40 time. I know a lot of people were harping on that, but his 3-cone was one of the fastest in the draft. So he could make up for that in the short area quick burstness. And there were some plays where he made some he broke up the ball like deep passes. So I'm not too worried about him if he does play on the outside. Tackle. It took me a while to come to terms with that one because again it seemed like a reach for a backup, and your second pick in the second round. But overall, after the third round, I'm pleasantly surprised with all the picks. So I'll give them a B-.
B-. All right. And AD, your thoughts on your grade on the draft this season?
Entire draft. I'm gonna give it a B+. Similar to Poppy. I think it, the Kalen Bullock and Stover picks kind of took it over the edge. They definitely brought it out of the C range. But yeah, I think those two picks specifically, and then the Henderson pick too at the end of the draft. A throwaway pick. You got a damn good rotation backup offensive lineman.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Well, AD, it's always a pleasure having you on, brother. I appreciate you taking the time on a Monday to come. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
On a Monday to join us, man. It's awesome having you on, of course.
Always, man. It's a pleasure.
No one talks about time. They talk about how many TDs he gave, just like last year. There's 0. Sneeze. I think he meant sneeze. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, AD, as always, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. We have to have you on more often, and before the season, definitely I'll see you at training camp this year.
Always.
That was a lot of fun, like last year. So it's definitely going to become a tradition. So, hey, man, appreciate you on the show. AD, can you tell us what you got going on?
Oh, we got a pod tomorrow at 8:30. We're gonna do the same thing.
Same thing. Hey, there you go.
Same thing. Yeah, so we got a lot of things different coming up. So just be on the lookout for the H-Town Rundown. Check out our shorts, man. There you go. The H-Town Rundown.
Follow them up on Twitter. I believe this is also your YouTube channel, right? The H-Town Rundown. Yeah,
the H-Town Rundown.
Follow them up. Great content. You're gonna love it. Also, check out their spaces. My God, those spaces are amazing. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. If you are weak and you get offended easily, it's not for you. This is the H-Town Rundown. That's where it's at. Check out the space on Twitter as well. Give them a follow. These guys are amazing. Love hanging with them. AD, again, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the show, man. Thank you so much. And oh wow, we got one more. Time's the only team recruiting picks with failed.
Oh man,
Brandon, keep cooking, brother, please.
Oh God,
thank you so much.
What a way to end it.
What a way to end it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. AD, thank you again, man, for joining us on the show. That's gonna be it for us this week. See y'all next Monday. Peace.
Southwest A-League, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans. If you ain't never been down here, but rule number 1, you gon' respect this. Just fans in my speakers, new one drop, they bout to bless us. I might right through the SWAT, playing just fans right through your spot. Look, and I don't know what you thought, but right here, dog, we gon' rep the squad. Got HU, I might fit it, then on my jersey, you gon' know